Hi there, Nigel Saunders of KW Bonsai. Today we're going to be working on my Ficus Microcarpa Bonsai. This is the multi-trunk one with lots of aerial roots, the fancy one, as opposed to the sister tree, the plain one. This tree is growing really bushy over the summer, and it's definitely time to do some pruning on it. My first decision is going to be how high do I want the apex of the tree. So, by covering it up with my hand, I'm kind of thinking quite far down, like quite low, like about maybe here. So, yeah, that's about it's about the halfway point or slightly lower. I want my apex to be about here, so we're going to go in quite deep and start pruning. So this is going to be a profile type prune, where we're just going to get it back to size, and then we're going to start looking at what's left and start trimming further for structure. This tree is going to be styled without any wire. It's never been wired. And I don't think I'll ever wire it. Most work on a ficus can be done without wiring. You just have to be a little patient. So I've cut it back quite hard now. I'm just getting rid of all the branches in here. And then I'm going to come back and have a look at it and see if we need to go lower. And I have a feeling we will, but I'm going to have a look at it first. So I still think it's too high. I'm going to prune it down half the height again. So here's our canopy. We're going to go down quite deep, and I'm going to need some larger pruners because we're getting into some fairly thick wood down here. We will be losing some ramification by cutting it back hard, but if you don't cut the back hard every now and then, your tree's just going to slowly get larger over the years, and you'll end up with a huge giant tree, which may not be too practical. The nice thing about pruning it down in height is that we're keeping a lot of our width that we've developed. Not all of it, but a lot of it. So the tree will look, wider than it is tall, which is how a mature ficus tree looks. It has a wider crown than it is tall in height. All right, let's have a look at it now. Well, it's a little lopsided, isn't it? But it's getting there in height. Yeah, I think the height is good. I think we just have to round it a little more and square it up a bit. Okay, let's keep going. So further rounding on this side. That's looking at better height and roundness. There's an overall view of it now. Yeah, I think that's good. I think the canopy's the right height. We've kept most of our width there. It definitely looks like a more mature tree. This tree, it reminds me a lot of the Disney tree, the fake tree at Disney World in Florida. It has that look to it. So maybe in future we'll develop it more as that Disney tree. So I'm going to clean the planting up, get rid of all the leaves around it, and then we'll look at the structure and see what we have left. I've got the tree all cleaned up, so we're going to go up top now and look at the structure of the branches and clean out any branches that aren't growing in a good direction. crossing other branches, you know, structural flaws that can be fixed. So let's do that now. We're looking at the top of the tree now, looking down, and I'm going to prune out any branches that aren't flowing from the center of the tree outwards. So this branch here, for instance, it's just not going in a nice direction. There's another one here. So this is just little detail work. We will be defoliating this tree again. So I think, you know, I've kind of roughly pruned out any obvious crossing branches and structural problems. If you defoliate a tree, it does take quite a while for the leaves to grow in. So if you do it in the summertime, you're kind of wasting your summer growing season. You know, unless you're preparing the tree for a show where you want the new leaves to come in very small, you're kind of sacrificing a summer of growing for generating new smaller leaves. So, I don't know, we may, if I defoliated now, they would grow in probably close towards the end of summer. I don't know. If I defoliate it, as I said, I'm going to waste the last kind of month of summer. And the tree won't grow much, it'll just be generating leaves. So it's not, the tree's not that close to a refinement stage yet. So maybe in, you know, another 3 to 5 years, we may start defoliating for smaller leaves. But I think we'll just leave it as it is for now. So we gave the tree the Larry Dooleys up top, and now it's time to work on the bottom. So we're going to be pruning our moss, stripping moss away from the base of the tree. It's starting to climb up again. We are getting a lot of aerial roots growing. That's because the tree had so much vigor up top. I'll probably get less aerial roots growing now that I've pruned the top back. But that's okay. This tree has lots of aerial roots already, and it's got lots of time in the future to grow more of them. So I'm just using the tweezers and cleaning the moss off. This is the area that we did that carving in the root last time. It's starting to get better. Got a few aerial roots coming from the cut point, and we're starting to get some thickening of the remaining parts of the root that will flow in nicely eventually with the rest of the roots in the tree. Before it kind of stuck out as a bulbous egg or something there. If I did want to make this tree a replica of the tree at Disney World, the artificial tree there, I could see someday maybe carving animals in the roots or something like that. Not sure if I want to go that route. I think I want to keep it looking more like a natural banyan style tree you'd find in nature. But, you know, maybe if I change my mind in the future, who knows. I do like having a lot of my bonsai trees that you can recognize either the style of them or sometimes the actual tree it's trying to copy. So if everyone said, oh, that's the tree from Disney World, it wouldn't be a bad thing. The tree is slowly improving its flare at the base because it's in a shallow pot and we're root pruning our roots to go horizontal. It's flowing into the soil much better than it did when we first got the tree. And that'll continue over time also. I'll continue removing all this moss, cleaning up the root base, and we'll come back and have a look at it. I've got a lot of the moss removed from the upper part of the roots, and I'm starting to get down towards the bottom where the roots go into the soil. And to get a clear view, I'm going to have to prune the moss down. So we'll just come in and scissor prune a layer of the moss off, like that. A lot of people ask me, you know, doesn't the moss create trouble with the soil retaining too much water. And no, it doesn't if you keep a thin layer of moss. If you let your moss go really thick, yeah, you might get problems. You might get, too much water retention in your soil. The moss will just hold a lot of moisture there. But a thin layer doesn't harm it at all. So that's why we keep pruning our moss down with the scissors. I kind of like these aerial roots growing over the pot, but we have to get rid of those. So we want to see the lip of our pot in bonsai. So I'm just going to prune everything back. These aerial roots are actually gripping the pot. It's amazing. And we want to trim around the perimeter of our pot, making sure we don't have moss overhanging the lip. I finished cleaning the moss away from the roots at the base of the tree. I've pruned the moss down to a nice fine layer. So let's go in and have a look at it. Here's a close-up of the roots. Just rotate it around a bit. So as I've said before, I like to imagine the scale of the tree. For this one, I would imagine a person would be maybe this tall. The base of a giant banyan tree. Somewhere around there. Yeah. Today we've pruned the canopy down back to size. We did it at the right time of the year. We let the tree grow most of the summer, gaining all kinds of vigor and strength. Then we cut it back hard, taking probably 2/3 of the canopy off. And now it's got lots of energy in the tree. It'll regrow all kinds of new shoots. That's it for today. Nigel Saunders of KW Bonsai. Do something green today. Try and do your washing and stuff at nighttime, in the off hours, instead of in the peak hours during the day. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.